Okay. So, tonight I am very exceptionally tired, so I am going to talk about something that is not necessarily the best content of all time. But that's kind of par for the course with this series. Well, let's just talk about this anyways, okay? So I was visiting the website archive.org recently. And if you don't know what archive.org is, it's basically like an archive of a bunch of like public domain media. Like anything that has expired from its trademark is usually gets uploaded to archive.org. Like there's a lot of MP3s of songs from the 1920s that have expired their trademarks. And there's Grateful Dead concerts available on there because apparently, I guess Grateful Dead, the band, was like, well, yeah, go ahead. Our live concerts, you could just upload them there. And there's like old movies from like the 1920s, obviously, but also there's some old TV shows from the 1950s that didn't get registered as trademarks. Also, there's that the world famous Night of the Living Dead. The one that the only reason it's not trademarked is because George Romero forgot to trademark it. Just a whole bunch of public domain stuff that you can mess around with. It's a really cool place to visit, actually. It also has an I don't know. I'm getting off topic. I visited this website recently and noticed there was a new addition to it. Um, there's this thing that's called the arcade or something like that. The old arcade. It's in the software section. And at this old arcade place, you can play old arcade games. And, okay, people have always been able to play old arcade games on their computers. But as far as I'm aware, it's always been an illegal process. There's this emulator called Mame. I think that's called My Arcade Cabinet or something like that. My Arcade Cabinet emulator. That doesn't even make sense. But that's what it is. It's an arcade cabinet emulator that allows you to play all these arcade games. You can download the ROMs illegally if you can find them, and then you can play them on MAME. And so, like, that's always been available, but it being uploaded to archive.org as, like, an actual thing that you can do, that must mean that these games are in the public domain, or at the very least, whatever company owns these games has given the permission for them to be played. And I think that's really, really cool. So, I don't really have much to say about this, but if you are at all a fan of old arcade games, or if there's some old arcade game that you remember playing that you would like to legally be able to play, head over to archive.org. Try playing it at the arcade there. They have like a whole setup where they have the MAME, like you click on the game, and then it loads like a console, and then it loads MAME in that console, and then it loads all the stuff, and then you have all the controls set up on your keyboard already, and you can even full screen it, and it's great. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Archive.org now has an arcade, and it's cool. I recently played Outrun at that arcade. Outrun is like a game about driving that I really liked. A game about driving as fast as you can and trying to beat the clock. So that's what I did. And that's what I said. And this is the end of this beautiful, wonderful, perfect episode of the Kokino Podcast. I know this is the best one you've ever heard, right? This is like the high art. This is the episode that when historians look at this show in the past, they're going to be like, this is the point where he made his highest piece of art ever. That's what they're going to say. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. I hope that this mess of information was actually coherent enough for you to understand it. Goodbye.